This was a UFO incident witnessed by several thousand people at the same time. DUV jets. On the night of the incident, a V-shaped, unidentified flying object appeared in the night sky. According to people's estimates, the width of the craft reached at least 1.6 kilometers, and during its flight, it made no noise at all, just like an alien mothership in a sci-fi movie. This is definitely not technology humans possess. You should know that the number of witnesses exceeded 7,000, and there were tens of thousands of sighting reports alone. So the possibility of a hoax is basically ruled out. This is the famous Phoenix Lights incident. Going back to March 13th, 1997, around 7 p.m., a man in the state of Nevada, USA, discovered a giant V-shaped flying object in the night sky. There were also 6 glowing lights along the leading edge of the craft. It moved from northwest to southeast across Arizona. At around 8:15 p.m., a police officer in Arizona was just about to head out when he suddenly felt the night sky brighten. He looked up immediately and saw red-orange lights flying through the air. So he rushed home to grab his telescope for observation and watched until the lights completely disappeared beyond the southern horizon. He immediately called the local police to report the incident. From that moment on, the police department began receiving non-stop reports from citizens, saying they had seen an unidentified flying object in the night sky. At around 8:30 p.m., the craft had flown over Phoenix, Arizona. A woman named Chris, an astronomy enthusiast living in northern Phoenix, was observing a comet in her yard with an astronomical telescope when she discovered 7 glowing orbs arranged in a V-shape in the night sky. Chris used her telescope to track these strange lights, but she found she simply couldn't track them, because the lights moved in a very peculiar way. They would suddenly drop a great distance in one spot, then suddenly rise back up, almost like a zigzag pattern. Chris immediately felt that this was definitely not an airplane. Even planes performing aerobatics at air shows could never move like that. That kind of maneuver is impossible. At the same time, another witness living in Phoenix, Tim, gave an even more astonishing testimony. When she first noticed the mysterious lights, the lights were still relatively far away. Then the lights got closer and closer. She could clearly see that these lights were not separate objects, but were embedded in a massive flying craft. There were a total of 5 glowing lights arranged in a V-shaped formation, and the craft made no sound at all while flying. It even passed directly over his head, blocking out part of the starry sky. Later, the craft flew into downtown Phoenix. It even hovered in the night sky. This was also where the most witnesses were gathered. It remained visible until after 10 p.m. before disappearing. According to statistics compiled afterward, the National UFO Reporting Center alone received over 700 reports that night, and the phones at the Phoenix Police Department rang non-stop. Witnesses all said they saw lights arranged in a V-shape. Some people reported seeing 5 lights, others said they saw 7 lights, and some said they saw 9 lights. More than 7,000 people witnessed the incident that night. Later, reporters interviewed witnesses from that night. They found that all testimonies shared 2 points in common. The craft was a massive V-shaped object, and it made no sound at all. Based on photos and witness descriptions, the width of the craft was estimated to be at least 1.6 kilometers. You should know that the world's largest airplane, the Antonov An-225, has a wingspan of only 88 meters. This craft was equivalent to the width of 18 An-225s. And such a massive object produced absolutely no sound while flying. This is clearly beyond the capabilities of human technology. Ever since the Phoenix UFO appeared, the topic caused a huge uproar locally. As public attention increased, the police began working with the media to investigate the cause of the incident, and they proposed several hypotheses. The first hypothesis was airplanes, because airplanes also have lights. But this hypothesis was immediately ruled out, because the lights that night were able to hover in the air, and they made no sound at all, which airplanes simply cannot do. Furthermore, authorities confirmed that no aircraft were deployed that night. The second hypothesis was ball lightning, but this explanation also doesn't hold up. The local weather bureau stated that the weather on the night of March 13th was extremely clear, not suitable for generating ball lightning, and ball lightning only lasts for a very short time, whereas the Phoenix lights lasted for several hours. The third hypothesis was military illumination flares, because illumination flares continue to glow after being released into the air, and the falling speed of flares is extremely slow, so from a distance they can look as if they're hovering in the sky. And there actually is a military base near Phoenix, so is it possible they were illumination flares? Later, some media outlets went to interview the military, but the military did not respond to the matter. It wasn't until June 18th that the media formally published a report stating this was the most puzzling UFO report in 50 years. Once this report was released, it drew nationwide attention. But soon after, the government issued an emergency statement, claiming that it was simply an Air Force exercise. At 10 p.m. that night, 4 A-10 attack aircraft were conducting training at a range in western Pima County, and the lights seen that night were illumination flares dropped by the A-10s. But this explanation upset many eyewitnesses. If the Phoenix lights were flares, then each light should have been independent. There should have been empty space between each light. But many witnesses said what they saw was a single massive craft, with the lights embedded at its front. The enormous craft even blocked out the stars in the night sky. Illumination flares cannot do that, and many other witnesses provided similar testimony. Furthermore, the military exercise took place at 10 p.m., but these lights had already appeared around 7 p.m., and flares produce smoke when burning, but there was no smoke near the Phoenix lights. They had also conducted many training exercises before, so why did only this one cause such a huge commotion? Therefore, many people believe the Phoenix lights were not simple at all. The object was enormous, capable of hovering instantly in mid-air and completely silent in flight. Thus, it was very likely an enormous alien mothership. Just as people were heatedly debating the matter, we arrive at June 19th, when Arizona Governor Fife Symington held an emergency press conference, claiming they had found the culprit. Just as everyone was expecting the truth, a person wearing an alien costume was brought out, with handcuffs on his wrists. Governor Symington stated that this was the mastermind behind the event, and now they had been caught. He used this joking approach to tell everyone there was no alien spacecraft at all. You simply mistook illumination flares for an alien ship. There's no need to take this matter too seriously. Governor Symington hoped to use this humorous approach to put an end to the Phoenix Lights incident. However, his actions angered the public. Are you treating us like fools? The flares are nothing like what we saw. Later, someone recreated the effect of aircraft dropping flares. The result was completely different from the Phoenix lights. Flares flicker on and off, and they are irregular. Until 2007, the governor who held the joking press conference changed his earlier statement, but by then, he had already retired. In a media interview, Symington revealed that during the 1997 sighting, he personally witnessed an unidentified spacecraft. It was something from another world. He had been a pilot himself, and he knew aircraft very well. But the Phoenix UFO was unlike anything he had ever seen. And at the time, he had asked the military what it was in his capacity as governor, but the response he received was no comment. He also denied the flare explanation in interviews later on, saying that the Phoenix lights were far too symmetrical. The object had a contour that never changed, and flares do not form into a flying formation. This suggests that what happened at the press conference that year may not have been voluntary, which only adds even more mystery to the Phoenix Lights incident. In fact, to this day, the incident still has no convincing explanation, and all kinds of theories continue to circulate. So what do you think about this?